Hi, good morning. My name is Wasim Fukase. I'm a partner at Helion Ventures based in Dubai and DIFC. Can I see who's not actually from Dubai? Resident? Okay, that's quite a lot. All right, so what we do as Helion Ventures is basically we're established here in Dubai, and we do a lot of venture studios, VCs investing in Web3 projects, including DeFi, infrastructure, GameFis, and stuff like that. So we wouldn't call it as a typical VC because we're doing venture studios, and we're planning to kind of expand into like Saudi Arabia, Brazil, and Hong Kong, other regions where it's kind of booming in the market. So that's where we're actually focusing on. So yeah, again, good morning, and definitely we're in a good right timing in Dubai or Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates, where it's a kind of booming market, especially within VCs, within projects. I've seen personally a lot of projects coming in within past, I would say 3-4 years, even during COVID. I've been living here for 12 years and kind of seen the changes, especially from like 2017 when there has been a lot of crypto OGs coming in to Dubai, living kind of high life of their peak. And then you had a lot of kind of regulations coming in, especially in Asia, say Singapore, Europe, US, and that's kind of pushed a lot of projects to come in to Dubai. So especially from like a VC standpoint of view, we've getting a lot of attraction because we've been in Dubai and projects coming in, so it's easier to connect with people. A lot of people, kind of based in Dubai. You see a lot of projects we meet face to face instead of all the Zoom calls and stuff like that nowadays. We have a lot of events, crypto events like this. I would say usually maybe 4 or 5 months of the year. So that's kind of great to kind of catch up, learn about each project, and how many of you know what VC does, or who's VC over here? Okay, so yeah. As investor, venture capitalist, it's probably a good time and bad time at the same time. When you have like a dry powder kind of thing around the globe, like especially European VCs, Asian VCs, and that's where you want to kind of tackle. But at the same time, we definitely want to deploy cash into those projects to kind of boom it. We've seen like 100x and stuff like that past year, like past 2017. It's not like that in the market, I believe, but there are quite strong potential projects, especially in this Middle East region. If you look into Dubai, if you look into Saudi Arabia, and the kind of regulation also kind of helps that from perspective of deploying like tokens or NFTs. We've seen a lot of real world assets coming in to Web3, and that's something that we are kind of looking at Helion Ventures as well. And yeah, that's something that's, as venture capital, what we're looking into is a lot of DeFi infrastructure, real world assets that would connect between Web 2, Web 3, or even like adults like us, kind of being part of Web 3, especially coming from Asian background. I've seen a lot of Web 3 being youngsters, being founders, don't know what to do, but they know that VC will dump your money. So as a venture studio also, we wanted to kind of guide them right way, and you don't want to get played with. So that's my role within Helion Ventures as well. But as venture capital, I think it's a great market that's coming in within next Q1, Q3, Q4 of this year. That's what we're looking for, and yeah. Does anyone have like deployed more than 1 million nowadays? Yeah. Okay. I've seen 3. With that, what kind of projects did you deploy as investors? What was the point for you guys to kind of deploy those cash into projects?
I'm not an investor. Well, we're not a VC. We're L1 L3 stack, but we have a $20 million grants fund.
Okay.
We have 2 DEXs, 2 DAOs. We have a DAO platform, 2 DEXs, 2 wallets. We're Syscoin L1, we've been around since 2014, and so we've scaled up. So our market cap is we've got a $20 million fund. So we've got a project for Dowsys where we put 500K in that. We put 500K in another project called Pegasus, which is a DEX in Brazil, and we're incorporated here in Dubai as of last month.
So you guys started deploying, being in Dubai since last month?
Last month, yes, but we've been based in Canada and the US. Well, our team is distributed internationally, but our foundation started in 2019. That's when the fund was started, and then we started putting out capital in 2019.
Great.
That was built on our stack, on our L1. Now we're going multi-chain.
Okay, definitely want to speak to you later on. But yeah, it's something that I think you've heard, like people coming into Dubai just recently, kind of based here, or people kind of moving in. So that's what, as a VC or as a project, I think there's like an ecosystem within Dubai as well as in Abu Dhabi, which I would like to definitely kind of grow within, meet you all, speak to all, kind of understand what we can do. So yeah, that's about it from me. And if you do have
just could you expand on maybe your check size, fund size, portfolio, things like that, or maybe even more general? With Web3 investment funds, I see the check size smaller than Web2 or Web 2.5, I want to say. Could you expand on something like that with Web3 for check size terms, things like that?
Of course. So when it comes to Web3, as you mentioned, the check size is way smaller, especially depending on what VCs. For Helion Ventures, we're kind of in progress right now. It's like a 50 million fund. 1/3 is basically on venture studios. We have certain LPs in the projects. We're looking into kind of deploying those caches within Middle East, Brazil, and Asian region. So we've been kind of expanding, kind of moving around from Hong Kong to Singapore to even to Rio, going to Saudi frequently to understand the market and startups. With the terms, we do both. I mean, we look into like a safe plus token warrants, and you see a lot of projects still focusing on like SAFT agreement nowadays, but the valuation doesn't really match because they had higher valuation a couple of years ago when they did like seed round. So it is, again, from project side or from VC side, a little bit kind of mismatching unless they downgrade it. But when it comes to like seed projects, I've seen like a lot of 10 million valuation projects looking for like $1 million raised in DeFi's. I would say comparing to US projects, the valuation is still low in the Middle East projects. So you see like they want to raise maybe 100K or 500K max, or even million as a valuation of 10 million. And what we're trying to kind of focus is kind of like safe plus token warrants, but we really kind of focus into the structuring as well, how they structure as a project, because you don't want to get, stabbed by the regulatories here and there. We've seen all those, in the past few months, whether it's US, Europe. So yeah, valuation-wise, you'll see a lot of like 10 million valuation, even higher. If it's real-world assets, they would go like 50 million valuations as a seed round. But as a VC due diligence, we really kind of, and we don't want to mess it up, especially from due diligence point of view. You know what happened, everyone probably knows. So due diligence, KYCs, even like structuring is something that we really look into. Yep. All right, so thank you very much again. If you do have any questions, please feel free to kind of come up to me, ask me anything. So thank you. Oh.
Yeah, morning everyone. My name is Ankit. I would like to know in terms of VC, when you're looking on a project in Web3 space, like a marketplace or anything, which do you prefer more in terms of tokenization of that company of the project or the equity share? What's your perspective? I mean, which is the first thing you're looking for? Is it you should go for an equity or you should go for the tokenizations?
That will also depend, right? So it depends on what kind of project it is, whether it's L1 or whether it's DEX or GameFi or anything else. So depending on what kind of project it is, we'll try to kind of focus whether it's more on equity base, what is the ratio between tokens, because a lot of people will tell you about token issuance, promising tokens in the future, but you never know what's going to happen. So as a VC, we want to kind of like try to have that equity as a safe zone at the moment. But after that, a lot of VC has kind of suffered from only the tokens, kind of expectation being 10x or something, and then it never went. So yeah, both kind of equity and also token, and what kind of token utility, or whether it's utility or whether it's governance or depends.